Hey there guys, this is Mike Kim. Welcome back to my channel on Diablo 3, and today you're going to be watching me do a video on the Witch Doctor where I kill the Skeleton King naked. As you can see, I only have access to 4 active skills and 1 passive skill right now. I am level 12. As the patch beta 13 wiped out all our characters, I decided to run a Witch Doctor, and I find that the class is a very versatile one where their options are always open. Even in this encounter, I decided to go for a very mobile version of the skills he has. A lot of players think that Fire Bats is good, and I agree with them. The only problem with the channeling ability of holding your Fire Bats ability and casting it is that you have to stand still, and if you are running all the time, like in this encounter where I'm running away from the Skeleton King all the time, it's not possible to deal as much damage as compared to standing still and just DPSing the boss down. So for this encounter, I picked up Poison Dart, and I'm using the Splinter Rune here. Skill rune? Yeah, I'm using the Splinter skill rune. Poison Dart in normal mode, as in it doesn't, when it's not ruined, it will do 100% of your weapon damage as poison, and it shoots 1 dart. If you splinter it, as in you put in the skill rune that is called Splinters, it will shoot 3 darts instead and dealing about 70% of your weapon damage. I also have Corpse Spiders. Like I mentioned earlier, I actually used the Fire Bat to clear all the way to the boss, but I switched out using Corpse Spiders because I found that it was easier for me to deal damage to him because I could throw the base full of spiders. It would land, it would break, it would deal damage as I was running away from the boss. Because most of the time I spent fighting away from him, I didn't want to get caught in his AoE, and I didn't want to get surrounded by his minions. With Corpse Spiders, I picked up the skill rune Leaping Spiders. What it does is it increases the amount of weapon damage they deal from 25% to 30%, and it also gives your spiders the ability to leap up to 25 yards away. So you didn't really have to be very accurate. All you have to do is just make sure you throw the vase roughly near an enemy, and they will do the rest of the job. One thing to note is that Corpse Spiders is controlled by the AI, as in once they break, the base breaks and the spiders are released, you won't be able to decide who they attack, but on the other hand, they will just attack whatever is closest to them or wherever it's landed. So with a bit of intelligent placing or positioning, you'll be able to decide what you want to deal damage to, but it won't be as accurate as using Poison Dart. So most of the time you'll notice I was running around casting Corpse Spiders, and when I was able to stand still, I would just keep casting my Poison Dart on the boss, which was the Skeleton King in this case. And also, only if I had line of sight, because at some point of time during the encounter, you'll notice that he's surrounded by his own minions, and Poison Dart can't exactly go through those minions. So in those certain situations, I would just keep running, or I would cast Grasp of the Dead, which would hit everything including the boss. I picked up Groping Eels, the skill rune, which increases the amount of weapon damage that Grasp of the Dead does. It's a small AoE, which is about, I would say, 14-15 yards from where you're targeting, so it's 1 circle, and it does damage to everything in there, and it's on an 8-second cooldown. What it does is it slows down enemy movement by nearly 50%, if I'm not mistaken 60%. And it's very useful, especially if you're kiting things around. And in this case, since there were so many enemies trying to kill me, casting this and weaving in between them to pick up health globes and stuff that the dead enemies dropped was very, very useful. And finally, I had summon Zombie Dogs. This is great, especially since they would be the ones tanking for you. And I'm not sure how the aggro or the threat in this game works yet, but most of the time enemies would be stuck on my Zombie Dogs, and if I just ignored them, they would just continue hitting the Zombie Dogs. Of course, occasionally I will get a few stragglers and I will just run away from them. But of course, it's easier to have them because one thing that they added was the skill runes, and the skill rune, the first one that I picked up for the Zombie Dogs, was very useful. In this case, it's called lifelink, and what it does is some percentage of the damage that my witch doctor takes would go to the zombie dog. Now, this may or may not be a very great skill, because I know some players they like to keep the zombie dogs alive, especially since the summoning ability itself is a 1 minute cooldown. But I found that you pretty much don't have to worry about them, because by the time they die, your cooldown is usually already complete. And another thing to take note of is that when you pick up a health globe, like in a party, picking up a health globe will heal all your allies as well. That includes your zombie dog. And for passive skills, because I'm past level 10, I have one available passive skill to choose from. I had the option of picking up Jungle Fortitude and Vermin. Vermin will increase the damage of my pets by 20%, Pop Spiders and Locust Swarm and Fire Bats, but since I'm only doing 1 damage per shot, since I'm naked, I decided to go with Jungle Fortitude, which would reduce all the damage I take as well as my pets by 20%. So if you compare this with the Demon Hunter, because I decided to do this one without the companion or without the follower, because the previous video I made on the Demon Hunter, I showcased on how when you pimp out the follower, they can deal a substantial amount of damage. In this case, I wanted to see if the Witch Doctor could do it without the follower, and using these skills, it was possible. It took a long time, like I said, past 10 minutes just to kill King Leoric, because I had to do a lot of kiting. As you can see what I'm doing right now, I'm just taking a few steps back, casting Poison Dart, rinse and repeat. So if you guys have a better way of doing it, or a more optimal way of killing the boss, or skill sets, maybe something I didn't notice, because I'm only level 12 and I went through all the skills, tried them out, felt how it worked and stuff like that. So this worked out pretty well for me, and this will definitely affect or influence the way I play when we try harder difficulties, because this is normal right now, so enemies don't seem to hit very hard and they don't have a lot of HP. Like I said, each of the minions, they only have about 30 HP, but even then they were killing me. If you get caught and you get zerged or trapped, you're pretty much dead in this encounter. So anyway, guys, if you have any comments on what you'd like to see next in my next video, go ahead and comment on my channel. Thanks a lot, enjoy!
Needs more time.